This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Always about a girl, but this one, she might just save me from my fragile mind as it starts to waste my time on red flags, past wounds and maybe, oh maybe. No way, it's too far to climb, man. Keep it moving till you're ready to go. No way.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it, and so do I. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Monday, September the 29th of 2025, day 272nd of the year, and only 93 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big USA, Canada, UK.
Yep, a lot of stuff going on as we are hanging out. So how have you been? How was the weekend? Did you do anything cool? Did you do anything that you want to brag about? Or did you just kind of do nothing? Because, there is a combination of stuff on how you can do that. That is for sure. Anyways, our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of what we do around here. We talk a little bit about this, we talk a little bit about that, and then we kind of bring everything together and tend to forget exactly what we're doing. That's okay, because that's kind of how it's supposed to go. Anyways, if you want the opportunity to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Once you go to callinradio.com, that will get everything in moving and grooving for you. It's a simple process. Like, seriously. Video, audio, text messaging are the options once you get there, and then that gets everything going from that particular point on. So it's a simple process in doing so. Also, our show consists of doing radio. That's kind of where we start off. That's Safety FM and RadioBig.fm. And then we have a podcast, which this is our number one that we do on the podcast network. And then we have some video aspects, which we put on the social media ones. If you don't want to go through the social media aspect, you can safetyfm.com and then click on where it says virtual radio or visual radio. Sorry, visual radio. And once you get there, boom, this is the screener. This gets everything going. And then we're, of course, on iHeartRadio and so on. iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Live 365. So you name it, we're there some way, shape, or form, streaming or podcasting to it. That's kind of how it goes. And then the video aspect of the whole thing, if you're looking at hanging out with us. So there you go. Okay, what else? So why don't we start talking right away about what the hell was trending in the overnight?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's start taking a look at the trends of the ends of the ends. It's going to go something along this lines. Notable and noteworthy, Kabanga seeks to set a new world record. We'll talk about that. A federal judge also considers Diddy's appeal, and Tim Allen forgives his father's killer. We'll talk more about that as we get into show business. Also, we'll talk more about Jimmy Kimmel stuff, because why would we not do that? Because, of course, we have the opportunity of doing so. What else would we be doing? I mean, come on. It's kind of the popular thing that the kids are doing on the news now, so why would we not talk about that? So we'll talk about that. Also, Prince Kate takes the kids to the magical adventure. We'll talk about that as we get into the Royals. So there you go. That's the layout of the land. If you're good to go, I'm good to go, and we can get into the news right now. I'll bring in my friends from Feature Story News. They'll start telling you about what the hell is going on, and then we kind of start skedaddling. So let's do that. Here is the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News, I'm Rebecca Bunden in Mumbai. A gunman has killed at least 4 people and injured several others during a Mormon church service in the U.S. state of Michigan. He also set fire to the church. Nick Harper reports.
Police have named the gunman as 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford. At the time of the attack, more than 100 people were inside the church at Grand Blanc, Michigan, taking part in the Sunday morning service. Sanford rammed his truck into the church doors, went inside and opened fire with his assault rifle. He was shot dead by police who responded. President Donald Trump called it a horrendous shooting and another targeted attack on Christians in the United States.
US President Donald Trump is scheduled to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House on Monday as he pushes for a peace deal in Gaza. Tony Waterman reports from the UN in New York.
Benjamin Netanyahu is going to be meeting with President Donald Trump at the White House. This is the 4th face-to-face meeting the two will have had since Trump returned to the White House. But, you know, they are very close allies, but their priorities are now starting to diverge. We heard from the Israeli Prime Minister that the fight is going to continue regardless of what the international community is saying. But Trump increasingly has been putting pressure on Netanyahu to bring this war to an end. Trump has imaged himself as a peacemaker. He wants to bring this war to an end as soon as possible. There's been talks, perhaps, that the Israelis are planning to annex part of the West Bank in retaliation for this recognition of a Palestinian state. President Trump saying on Thursday night that he is not going to allow this to happen.
The death toll from the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has risen to more than 40, despite efforts by health experts to curb its spread. The United Nations has called for global-scale prevention. Chris Ochamringa has more from Kinshasa.
The Ebola outbreak has continued spreading in the Bulape health zone in southern DRC since the outbreak was declared on September 4th. At least 15 people, including 4 health workers, were reported to have died at the beginning of the outbreak. Authorities say the death toll has now risen to 42. Children below 9 are the most affected. Many women have also contracted the disease due to the caregiving roles they play in the community. The Congolese government and international experts say they have stepped up measures to stop the spread of the disease. They have vaccinated more than 2,000 people and identified more than 900 contacts of Ebola patients. The outbreak has occurred in a remote area with poor roads and electricity, which has complicated the response efforts of health workers. Ebola is a highly contagious disease that is spread through close contact with the blood or bodily fluids of infected animals or people.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the scramble in the weight loss industry ahead of the beginning of the end for patents protecting the intellectual property that created Ozempic and Wegovy. While Novo Nordisk's patents for the hugely popular weight loss drugs won't expire in the United States until 2032, its patent in China expires next year, and manufacturers there are salivating over the possibility of producing generic versions versions of the drugs at scale very quickly. The cost is set to tumble, some estimates suggest by as much as 90%. But Thorand Govind, former chair of the English Pharmacy Board at the Royal Pharmaceutical Society, is not so sure.
When we develop drugs, it is a complicated procedure, and then there is a period of time which is allowed for that manufacturer to effectively get going. And then after that time, that period of market exclusivity ends. If we think about the original manufacturer when this happens, they usually do face a reduced market share, but we know how much of a demand for this there is, and a lot of people are accessing it privately and buying it themselves. That's why I'm not wholly convinced that this figure is going to be as low as this.
The UK's NHS is one example of a health system that can't find enough supplies of the weight loss drugs to satisfy demand. One reason why she thinks initially the creation of generic versions may not devastate the market. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. A gunman has killed at least 4 people and injured several others during a Mormon church service in the U.S. state of Michigan. U.S. President Donald Trump is scheduled to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House on Monday as he pushes for a peace deal in Gaza. The death toll from the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has risen to more than 40. And that is the latest feature story news. Rebecca Bunden reporting.
Listen to our host
of the Rated R Safety Show.
self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork.
When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, there you go. 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday.
Or should I say Monday?
Okay, a lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse. So why don't we start hanging out and talking about some of this stuff? I guess I should talk about this because it's happening tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, September the 30th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to come and hang out with us, we're going to be talking about signal theory. A little bit about this, a little bit about that, and everything that goes on to what the hell is happening. So there you go. A lot of stuff as we are hanging out. Signal theory. We'll be talking about that stuff. Get ready to morph your theories into something more. That's kind of the concept. It's a free virtual event that you can hang out with. If you want to come and hang out with us, all you have to do is scan the screener right there. That will get you to the free pass right there. If you don't want to do it that way, that's fine. All you have to do is go to safetyfm.com and go to live events. Once you click on that section, boom, you're there, and we'll get you all sorted out in exactly what you want to do. So that is Signal Theory tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. You can scan the barcode right there, the QR code that's on the screen, or if not, you can go to safetyfm.com and go to live events. That will get everything moving. Okay, so let's talk about some new stuff.
Because that's why you're here.
And let's get moving about what is going on. Maybe it's just time to pull the plug on the internet. I don't know. That's what's being said around here. Data analytics firm Peak Metrics. The social media post about a Cracker Barrel logo change outrage and found that nearly half of those calling for the boycott were made by bot accounts within the first 24 hours. Peak Metrics reports suggest that the whole media cycle was bot-assisted amplification seeded by meme and activist accounts. The company concedes that overall 75% of the posts made about the logo change were likely by real people, but that the outrage machine was formulated and generated artificially. This is according to Gizmodo. So, if you kind of go back to some of this stuff, which is kind of interesting, so you hear that, and you hear that, people were outraged, but they weren't really outraged because it was bots. And then you have some other things that if you kind of go back a few years ago, do you remember that movie Justice League that came out? And then they came out with the Justice League, the Snyder version. Well, it has been reported off and on again that all the people that were calling for the Snyder version to be released, or a good chunk of the people that were being requested to do the Snyderverse, that I understand HBO paid $70 million to finish that movie. It was all bought. It was all bot assisted in regards of producing some of that stuff. So it's kind of a crazy, easy one if you start thinking about it. It's just one of those things that you start thinking about and going, what is bots? What is not a bots? What is real? What is not real? It's just kind of one of those things that can drive you crazy if you start thinking about it way too much. That is for sure. So I don't know anymore. Like, what is real? What is not real? Yeah, I look at it and go, yeah, it's just one of those things that's out there. You don't know what to do anymore.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying.
He is trying to be entertaining.
Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, that's a point of view if you say it that way. Anyways, President Trump vaguely asserted on Truth Social that the military will interfere to stop Antifa activities in Portland, Oregon, particularly as it relates to the disruption of immigration enforcement. So there you go. In the post, Trump wrote, at the request of the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, I am directing Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from the attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I am also authorizing full force if necessary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. In response to the post, Oregon Senator Ron Wyden shared a video that showed a dead silent ICE facility in Portland, and we don't need you here. Stay the hell out of our city, he wrote, in part. Of course, he didn't address why the facility's windows were boarded up in the video. Portland Mayor Keith Wilson issued a statement that said, in part, the numbers of necessary troops is 0. So there you go. A lot of interesting stuff going on inside of this political world. For the longest time, we avoided talking about this here. We just did. It wasn't something we discussed. Now it's gotten to the point that we talk about it every day. And I know it's kind of becoming one of those political shows. And it's not by intention. It's just part of the news cycle. So there you go. Okay, what else? Thieves in Colorado have made it away with not one, but half a dozen of giant metal roosters in recent months. The latest victim of the small-time farmer unincorporated Boulder County is Andy Johnson. One night, the 6-foot-tall rooster statue nicknamed Ralph just disappeared. When Johnson shared the news on social media, folks chimed in that he wasn't alone. In fact, similar large rooster statues upped and disappeared on 2 other occasions within 6 months. One person had 3 such statues stolen from their backyard. Police in the area say that another missing rooster was reported recently near Johnson's farm. In the heist, the crooks also tried to make off with a 6-foot-tall peacock sculpture, but failed. Johnson tells the local media the crooks return Ralph the rooster and no hard feelings if you bring him back. That's all good. What else? What else do we have here? Because it's always going to be a good one. Okay, so they stole the rooster. Yeah. Some rooster stealing. That's kind of an interesting one. Hey, here comes the rooster. Is that how the song goes? Yeah, I don't know. Things get so strange sometimes in regards. What else? There's more to this news story. Okay, as for why are they taking the statues, Johnson muses maybe they have this private backyard with a war chest of stolen chickens. I don't know. That was what the person said in regards of what they thought about it. It's kind of a weird comment to make, I think. I think it's a weird comment to make. What do you think? Kind of a strange thing, but I guess these things happen. Okay. So I guess we're about to torture everyone because, that's kind of what we do around here. Oh, the news story, I had it, and then now it's gone again. I've tried to pop up this news story about this statue thing like twice, and for some reason my computer's hating me. Maybe it just doesn't like the story. I don't know. Let's see if we can do something here.
Giant chicken lawn ornaments are disappearing in the dead of night in northern Colorado, a crime most foul. But our Mike Grady's on the case.
Yeah, so this is
okay, let's see if we can get this on the screen.
We've got the door open right now. A lot of them are inside laying eggs since it's the morning.
Lots of live.
How does he know that it's laying eggs?
Farm in Boulder County home.
Bruce, yeah, he's having a little go at me.
What?
Andy
What's going on here?
and his family.
Yeah, we just call him Blue.
Name just about all of them.
Yeah, this guy's my favorite sheep, Charlie, this one. He's basically like a fluff.
What is going on in Boulder?
A few weeks ago, one of their most prized.
Okay, let's see if there's a picture of this
We
thing.
also affectionately had named him Ralph. He was a big 6-foot metal rooster that we had out front.
Why are they like filming in between the fence? That's kind of a weird one.
To our sign for our egg stand. That's where he was. This was only a few days before he was.
I mean, the thing looks pretty big.
A thief in the dark.
It's a big rooster.
We did lose one chicken. The big boy.
Big in stature and price.
They're a couple of $100. Yeah, they're like $200 usually. Is about.
Why would you steal this
Law
thing?
enforcement officials tell us this is not the only foul poaching around here.
Really, we're going with foul poaching?
Yeah, people started commenting on this post and saying one was stolen from Loveland a couple of months ago. Someone said they had 3 in their backyard garden that was stolen.
So apparently this is the thing.
Multiple of these sort of
Thing to do in Boulder.
being taken, which just makes it even more bizarre.
Ralph's friends are taking the news hard, especially Bruce.
You know, he probably enjoyed Ralph looking out over the, over our roost, our home here.
Everyone.
Who's Bruce?
Ralph to come home.
This is a weird story.
Bring him back. That's all good.
For Nest, I'm Mike Grady.
Oh, the puns on that thing was kind of rough. Jeez. Okay, so there you go. Thanks there for 9 News for sharing the information. Oh my Lord, that was a rough one. Anyways, Egyptian wrestler Kabanga, sought in to break the world record of the heaviest ship pulled through the water only by a person with teeth over the weekend. Kabanga legally Astaroth Morehouse anchored himself onto the sandy beach with a handle in his mouth attached to a rope. Gabby's connected a 700-ton ship floating in water. Then he doubled down and then pulled 2 ships together at a weight of 50 tons. Kabanga diet regimen included eating dozens of eggs, 2 whole chickens, and 11 pounds of fish every day to fuel his 3 2-hour day training sessions every day. Kabanga has submitted the photos and the video to the Guinness to be certified as a world record holder. This is according to NBC News. Man, I thought a lot of people I knew had free time over the weekend. Holy shit. That's some stuff. Take a listen to this one. DNA evidence led the police to a new suspect in the 1991 killing of 4 teenage girls at the Austin yogurt shop. The brutal crime, which has haunted the cities for decades, recently got a significant breakthrough when investigators linking Robert Eugene Brashers to the crime via DNA. Brashers, who died by suicide in 1999 during a standoff with police, has also been linked to several killings and rapes in other states. A press conference to discuss the new findings is scheduled for today. The Super Sleuth's renewed interest in the case started last month when the release of the Yogurt Shop Murders via HBO. So that's what caused some of the sequencing of that. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Okay, let's talk about some other stuff. Russell M. Nelson, the oldest ever president of the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, has died. He passed away on Saturday night at his home in Salt Lake City. No further details were shared. Nelson, a former heart surgeon, spent 4 decades in the highest levels of church leadership. Ready for this? He was 101 at the time of his passing. So there you go. Also, in some other news, Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco tied the knot over the weekend in Santa Barbara, California. He's 37, she's 33. Blanco had one black tuxedo, while Gomez wore a white halter-style crown with a ruffled neck and sweeping skirt. Both were custom Ralph Lauren designs. Several A-listers were in attendance, including Taylor Swift, Steve Martin, and Martin Short, just to name a few. So there you go. Let's talk about the box office from over the weekend. It looks something like this. A big, bold, beautiful Journey, $1.25 million, coming in at number 10. Spider-Man 1, 2, and Spider-Man 3, $2.2 million. I guess it was a re-release is what it sounds like. I don't know if it was a 3-in-1 or what's going on there. Also, Downtown Abbey, the grand finale, $3.3 million. Number 7, The Long Walk, $3.4 million. And number 6 was Him with $3.6 million. And number 5, The Strangers Chapter 2, $5.9 million. At number 4, The Conjuring, Last Rites, $6.8 million. At number 3, are you ready for this? Demon Slayer, the movie, Infinite Castle, $7.1 million. Fell from the number 1 spot from last week, by the way. Coming in at number 2 was Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie, with $13.7 million. And at number 1, The Battle After Another, One Battle After Another. Not familiar with that one. It is $22.4 million. That might be the Leonardo DiCaprio movie, but don't hold me 100% to this. Okay, let's talk about this other stuff. Get a load of this. Since February, 48,104 voters in California have registered as Republicans for the first time. In that same time period, Democrats have registered 190 new voters. Now 190,000 or 19,000 or 1,900. That's not a typo. So there you go. 190. Still another 112,000 registered as independent, and Democrats hold a 4.5 million voters advantage overall. But indeed, something is shifting, so there you go. Let's talk about the Dow, because people tend to want to talk about that stuff. The Dow increased by 299 points to close at 46,247 on Friday. The S&P increased by 38 points to close at 6,643, and the Nasdaq increased by 99 points to close at 22,484. In some other news, West Texas Intermediate closed at $65 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $68 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.13 on Sunday, and Bitcoin gained over the weekend, closing and trading up right around 110,000.5. Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $497 million jackpot, or $229.5 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so, of course. But tonight's Powerball drawing will be for a $160 million jackpot, or a $74.2 million cash payout. So there you go. Let me give you one more here. Judge Aaron says that he will make a decision very shortly in regards to Sean Combs' appeal request. Combs' defense team argues that because he didn't engage or benefit from financially from the act of prostitution, the Mann Act doesn't fit. The prosecution argues that the specifics are irrelevant, as Combs still hired and paid for sex workers' flights, and he also choreographed and filmed the sexual acts. On Friday, the sentencing Combs attorneys are asking for no more than 14 months, given the time that he's already served, and that he would have him back home by November. Prosecutors would like to see him serve a minimum of 4 years. This is according to THR. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into that main story thing, because it's about that time.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
You know, we call this the main story because it always seems to be the story that we talk about that the show's based around. That's really the whole motivation about it. Some people go, well, if it's the main story, why don't you start off with it the first thing in the morning? Well, I guess we could do that too. I mean, there's some other options there. But I always like to wait towards the middle of the show. The middle of what we got going on in hour number 1, even though I know if you go to hour 2 and 3, this is not the middle of the show. But here's the thing. There are some things that we normally do for work. And I mean, there has been numbers of things that you've heard of people doing, everything from one extreme to the other, to doing the most craziest things that somebody would consider to do for work. where you would have people do some stuff that you would go, wow, why would you do that at work? So there's a lot of stuff in between there. But I want you to think about this for a moment, because we all know someone, or maybe you're even that person, as we talk about this, that will go far and beyond for work. And I'm talking about laying it all on the line. You will miss a kid's appointment. You will miss a significant other's appointment because work has called you to do something, and you have to make sure, because that is the priority number one. Or, you know, maybe it wasn't the priority number one, but it comes across that way because that's what's being done. You know somebody who's done stuff like that, or maybe it is you. But let's talk today about something on the other side of the equation. The one that you don't hear a lot of conversations about. The one where people go, I don't know how this is going to go. But let's talk about that one. That's the one I want to talk about. The one that will tell you right off the bat that I have relationships that are more important than this job. Now, those are kind of we'll call them the unicorns. It is kind of the rare of rare. The people that you normally do not find that will tell you this. And I bring this up today in particular because is there a point where work is demanding from you certain things that do not fit into the work-life balance? Now, I know we talk about work-life balance here pretty frequently. And the reason that I bring it up is because if you're in a different country, some countries have cutoff times, regardless of you being salary or not, where you don't work after X time, not even an email. And then you have other places, other countries that give you a 13th month vacation time. I know of other countries that give you maternity or paternal leave where it's a year. I mean, just stuff like that. So as you think about it, specifically being in the U.S. for a moment, what relationship would you deem is more important than your job? Like, seriously, like not just saying it in words, not just saying it in passing. Like, is there a relationship that's more important than your work? And listen, I'm not trying to sit here today for you to be like, oh, I feel some weird pressure now because I had to talk about this. No, it's a conversation. It's one of those things that we're talking about this because we're going, how weird is this? That sometimes you feel like you're in a spot where work has to take priority over everything else. And listen, I'm not saying show up late to work, don't go to work, don't have a job. That's not what I'm saying. But at what point do you give consideration where you would go, that's too much? I mean, think about this for a moment. There are jobs that have cost people their relationships because of what the job requires from them. It's kind of one of those weird ones today. It's like, is it good or is it bad? I don't know. It's a job.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author Jay Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
you ever wished that Facebook had a suck it button? You suck! This rock block is for you.
I met a girl, it's always about a girl, but this one, she might just save me from my fragile mind as it starts to...
Okay, here we go. 44 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. Yeah, there you go. Still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. We're going to be talking, we're going to be hanging, we're going to be banging, doing all the fun stuff we get to do, no doubt about that. So yeah, we're on the verge of getting close to the top of the hour. Okay, this right here is Nico with Who Says. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora if you want to come and hang out and take a listen. We'd like to thank Nico for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. You know, some tunes stick out more than others. Let's not lie here. This is a good one. Okay, so there you go. Thanks to Nico for allowing us to play this once again. So let's get back into the move and the groove of everything going on. If anything, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And no matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. That is for sure. Duh. We want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there's going to be all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com to write love on her arms. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. I will tell you, once you get there, that website can change it all for you. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Telling you, life-changing information that you can find on that site. No doubt about that. Okay, let's talk about some things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that is what's going on. A growing number of people are embracing repeat traveling. That's when they revisit the same vacation destination year after year. A survey says that 2,000 Americans found that visiting the same places for the holidays, many are seeking familiarity, comfort, and connection with local communities. Repeat visitors often feels like locals, with 65% reporting strong sense of belonging, while beachgoers and theme park families are most likely to repeat travel. The survey found that road trippers tend to explore new places, and repeat travel can also save money, averaging $1,854 per trip versus $2,016 for new destinations. Nostalgia and family traditions are also motivators, and the more than half of those surveyed plan to revisit familiar spots in the coming years. Some other findings are that the average number of repeat visits are 5, 30% of the same destination yearly. 49% of parents said they have taken their children to the same destination that was meaningful to them growing up. What do you mean? I'm afraid to check new places. Every year I sit at a different beach chair at the same resort. I'm just throwing that out there. Also, and some of us like going to places that they know, and they'll be there to complain about it. So there you go. Sometimes you just want to go where everyone knows your name. I guess that's what it is. Should we talk about sweet prices? Yeah, let's talk about some sweet prices. What would you do with $50,000? Buy a car, renovate a kitchen, or grab a 24-pack of discontinued cherry blossom chocolates? Well, that's the asking price on eBay, where Oakville, Ontario seller has listed one common love it or hate it chocolate candy for $48,300. Hershey stopped making the cherry blossom in January, ending the 130-year run of the polarizing treat, a syrupy Matriano cherry inside of a chocolate, coconut, and peanut. Since then, they have vanished off the shelves of major retailers, sparking a frenzy among nostalgic fans. Though that 48,000 chocolate cherry is an extreme case, many resellers are cashing in at Etsy. They're going between $90 to $325. A Calgary shop is asking $80 for 12 of them, and some sellers want hundreds just for the empty boxes. On Facebook Marketplace, yeah, that's not a joke as I say this, one Quebec woman priced his at $8 for 100. Let's see, and not bad for a candy that used to be able to pick up at the dollar store, if you think about that. So the blossoms were originally produced by a lonely factory in Montreal, which built in 1905. Hershey's Canada took over the brand in 1980s, describing it a quirky candy, the cherished treat. On the other hand, $8 each. That's generally still cheaper than movie popcorn, and that's not a sweet tooth. That's more of a mortgage, if you think about that, as it's all said and done. Anyways, let's talk about something a little bit more positive in our life, and let's bring some John Smalls in for him to tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Anne. Rod Serling said, "For the record, prejudices can kill and suspicion can destroy, and a thoughtless, frightened search for a scapegoat has a fallout all its own for the children and the children yet unborn. And the pity of it is that these things cannot be confined to the Twilight Zone." This was in a book written by his daughter Anne, As I Knew Him, my dad, Rod Serling. I absolutely love that show, and he did a great job with it. When I had the chance to visit with his daughter, I was afraid I'd like him less after hearing about the real him, but he sounded like a pretty good guy with an imagination that is unmatched, especially by the latest version of the Twilight Zone.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. The third level of giving is revelation giving. This is how the Macedonian churches gave. Paul describes it in the midst of a very severe trial. Their extreme poverty welled up in rich generosity. They gave as much as they were able and even beyond their ability. Sometimes the Lord impresses you to give an amount that is beyond your ability. And in faith, you determine to do so, although you can't imagine how. God honors your obedience and enables you to give what heretofore appeared to be impossible. Lord Jesus, give us a faith to practice revelation giving. In your holy name we pray. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
President Trump announced the deployment of federal troops to Portland, Oregon to protect immigration and customs enforcement facilities amid ongoing protests.
Local officials, including Governor Tina Kotek, expressed opposition to them, stating that the city has the situation under control without federal intervention. The president's directive allows for the use of full force if necessary, though details remain unclear. Kyle Norris reporting.
The United Nations Security Council vetoed a resolution proposed by Russia and China regarding the Ukraine conflict, underscoring persistent geopolitical divisions.
The vote highlighted ongoing international tensions over the war that has lasted for years. Western allies led the opposition, arguing the proposal failed to address key issues of sovereignty. Russia accused the Council of bias in its response. Further diplomatic efforts are expected in the coming weeks. Chris Anderson reporting.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faced a walkout by several delegates during his speech at the United Nations General Assembly.
The protest reflected widespread disapproval of Israel's policy
policies in Gaza and the West Bank. Netanyahu defended his government's actions, emphasizing security needs. Critics, including human rights groups, called for accountability. The incident has sparked renewed calls for dialogue in the region. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
Families of the 43 students who disappeared in Mexico in 2014 marked the 11th anniversary by demanding justice and truth from authorities.
The case remains a symbol of unresolved violence and corruption in the country. Protests drew thousands, pressing for an independent investigation. Government officials pledged continued efforts to resolve the matter. Activists vow to keep the issue in the public eye until closure is achieved. Benjamin Wright reporting.
President Trump directed the Justice Department to indict former FBI Director James Comey for allegedly lying to Congress.
The move is part of broader actions against figures from previous administrations. Comey has denied the allegations, calling them politically motivated. Legal experts anticipate a lengthy court process. The indictment has intensified partisan debates in Washington. Kevin Sanders reporting.
A potential government shutdown looms as funding runs out, with the White House threatening to fire federal workers if Democrats do not support the proposed bill.
Negotiations between congressional leaders and the administration remain stalled. Both parties blame each other for the impasse, citing disagreements over spending priorities. Essential services would continue, but many programs face disruption. Jessica Oakley reporting.
A shooting at a church in Michigan killed one person and injured 9 others, prompting President Trump to announce that the FBI is leading the investigation.
The incident occurred near a residential area outside Flint. Authorities have not released details about the suspect or motive. Community leaders called for unity and support for the victims. The probe includes examining possible connections to local tensions. Lawrence Keller reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
Okay, there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Let's talk about what happened back on this date. Back in 2018, Kanye West announces on Twitter that he will be changing his name to Ye. At the time, only those close to the rapper used the moniker. 3 years later, he would file legally to change his name. That happened back in 2018. If you're looking at some birthdays that are going on today, let's go this way. Let's see. Sasha Lane turns 30. Halsey turns 31. Let's see. Kevin Durant, 37. Alexander Volkanovski turns 37 as well. David Del Rio, 38. Calvin Johnson, 40. Kelly McRae turns 44. Zach Levy turns 45. Chrissy Metz turns 45 as well. Russell Peters, 55. Kelly Robbins, 56. Roger Bart, 63. Rob Deere, 65. Andrew Dice Clay, he turns 68 today. And Ian McShane turns 83. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, it's National Coffee Day, it's National Starbucks Day, and World Heart Day. Let me reference this one more time. Tomorrow, no, is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow, September the 30th. At 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be hanging out, doing our thing. If you want to come and hang out with us as we're talking about signal theory taking place at safetyfm.com, if you go under live events, or you can just scan the screener that's right there, the QR code. It's a free pass. Talk about signal theory. Would love to see you there tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So little lunch and learn action, if anything. Let me give you a random joke for today if you're so inclined for it. I asked my mom if she took Tylenol when she was pregnant with me. She said only when she had a really bad hangover. Yep, that's what happened. Also, what else? What's the worst possible reply to I love you? Thanks? I don't know. Okay, what else? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. According to a poll, 57% of us carry our phone in the right pocket, 19% in the left pocket, and 5% carry it where? In their underwear. In their underwear. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. Thanks for hanging out with me on this lovely day. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm. Talking about the world of safety, or not the world of safety, the world of music and entertainment if you want to come over there. If you don't want to go over there and you want to hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus, he'll talk about the world of safety consulting. It'll be a grand time in regards of doing so. Anyways, if I could leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Your talent determines what you can do. Your motivation determines how much you're willing to do. And your attitude determines how well you'll do it. Think about that because it'll change things for you. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
I met a girl, it's always about a girl, but this one, she might just save me from my fragile mind as it starts to waste my time on red flags, past wounds and make